Bienvenue. La séance ordinaire du Conseil municipal de Westmount, lundi le 17 novembre 2025 at 19h. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Westmount Municipal Council, Monday, November 17, 2025 at 1900 hours. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Welcome. And item number 2 on the agenda, Mayor's report. I have a few comments. Happy to see you here. Colleagues, members of council, members of the administration, and residents of Westmount, thank you for being here tonight. It's an honor to stand before you as your mayor, and I am grateful for the trust that so many of you have placed in all of us. Throughout the campaign, I spoke to thousands of Westmounters. One thing was constant. People love this city. They want us to move quickly, rebuild confidence, and focus on the day-to-day experience of living here. They want a city that listens, responds, and follows through. Tonight, I want to restate the priorities that will guide this council. A service-oriented city hall where residents feel heard and respected. A clear master plan for infrastructure paired with timely repairs in the interim. Improved basic services, including a permit process that is faster, kinder, and easier to navigate. A renewed focus on safety and security, which is simply essential. Stronger accountability and financial reporting so that residents can clearly see how their tax dollars get spent. Thoughtful growth in the Southeast, reflecting Westmount's unique character. Innovation. We want to bring the best of facilities to Westmount, best solutions and technology that is available. There's one issue that needs immediate attention, and that we will be discussing it tonight, and that is garbage collection. Residents have told us loudly and clearly that the shift to biweekly garbage has not been working. Many feel confused about recycling rules, composting, expectations, and the overall direction of waste management. People don't feel that they were given the information that they needed. And when residents tell us something isn't working, we have a responsibility to fix it. So tonight I will be introducing a motion to restore weekly garbage pickup until the end of April, 5 months. This is not a retreat from environmental responsibility. It is a practical and temporary reset. Restoring weekly garbage through the winter gives us the time we need to step back and understand where communication broke down. It allows families, seniors, caregivers, and many others to get through the winter months safely and comfortably. And it leads directly into the period from May through September, when weekly collection was already scheduled in the existing contract. During this reset, we will undertake a comprehensive communication audit, looking closely at what residents do and do not understand about recycling, composting, and the province-wide changes coming in 2027. We will rebuild our educational materials, our messaging, our website, and our outreach. When we ask residents to change behaviors, they deserve clear and simple information. That will be our focus. Et je veux être clair, notre engagement envers l'environnement demeure entier. Nous savons que les changements à la collecte des matières résiduelles sont importants et nous savons qu'ils demandent une bonne communication et une transition bien planifiée. Pendant cette période, nous allons aussi étudier un modèle déjà utilisé à Ottawa, un programme de considération spéciale pour les ménages ayant des besoins particuliers, comme les déchets médicaux, et les jeunes familles avec des couches. C'est une approche humaine, raisonnable et conforme à nos obligations à long terme. Nous voulons que chaque résident soit capable de s'adapter, mais nous voulons aussi respecter les réalités différentes de chaque résident. Also very important, the council will approve tonight the responsibilities of individual council members. Council and I have spent a lot of time determining what each councillor should be involved with based on their interests, their strengths, and their experience. In addition, I personally will lead certain major initiatives. One is innovations in all that we do. Second is a revision of our bylaws and rules in order to make the city more resident-friendly and efficient, and the Southeast, which is really a great opportunity for us if we do it properly. Our goal is not just to change service levels. Our goal is to get this right, to build a waste management system that residents understand, respect, and can successfully participate in now and the years ahead. We're at the beginning of an exciting chapter for Westmount. We can strengthen our parks, our sports facilities, our programs for families and seniors, and our sense of community. We can grow responsibly. We can be more transparent, more engaged, and more united. I will be the mayor for all residents. My door is always open, and I'm grateful to work alongside the council and our dedicated city employees as we move forward together. Let us commit ourselves to continuous improvement, civility, and collaboration. Let us honor the trust residents have placed in us, and let's make Westmount the best it can be. Merci encore à tous pour votre confiance. Je suis impatient de travailler avec vous pour bâtir un avenir encore meilleur pour Westmount. Bonne soirée et merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. That's item number 2. Thank you. I'd like to go to our first question period. And I would like to say, I've noticed in the past, in the meetings I've attended, we want to get to everybody's questions. So I ask people to kindly refrain from making long statements. Just please ask your question. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Richard Dufour on Anwath Avenue. Congratulations to all of you on your campaign and election. I'm glad to hear that Mayor Stern has a lot of interesting ideas for the future. Accountability is certainly one of them, transparency. I find it sad that the first thing to be addressed is garbage collection, meaning there are so many other priorities. You mentioned that communication is utmost importance, and I agree. And I'm just surprised that instead of devoting time to educating the public right now on something that's already been in place for a while, with a very well-educated population, that we're just kind of reverting to something that is actually quite regressive in terms of policies. So I'm going to ask the council, please, to reconsider what Mayor Stern has just proposed, and that is to vote against what is being proposed by Mayor Stern, to maintain our biweekly collection process, which has proven to reduce landfill. It has increased the amount of recycling and composting. Going back to our old system is going to lead to further confusion. And as you said, we know that by 2027, it will be imposed on us. Switching back and forth is not the right thing to do. Educating the population is the right thing to do. So please, I ask that you spend your energy on that communication and commitment, and not just to go back to tender and spend more money.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to add that we don't see it that way. Actually, our goals are to exceed the goals that are presently we know goals in terms of reducing dramatically the garbage that goes to landfill, increasing dramatically the composting, increasing dramatically the recycling, but we're not ready. We've heard from many, many, many people who have a different opinion than you, and we have to listen what they have to say. They're just not ready. And we have a contract, as you know. We can't change a contract which starts April 1st anyway for 5 months. But from now, April 30th rather, but we're only changing temporary 5 months now. That'll give us the time to hopefully come up with a world-class solution of different choices, what we can do better, because we know the whole world's going that way. We're going that way. It just maybe it wasn't either communicated properly, quickly enough, or people didn't respond well enough. We're going to fix it, but in the meantime, to buy us time, and we're trying to ease the burden for a lot of people, the majority as we see it, who are suffering. So thank you for your comments.
My second question, you say the majority of the people, I'm not sure where the statistics come from, the people that I spoke to, the majority of people I speak to, are not of the same opinion as you are. Okay. You did win by 40% of the vote. There's 60% of the population that did not vote necessarily in that way. So where do you get your statistics to show that the majority of people want this?
I don't want to go through statistics. I don't have statistics for you. I know I spoke to 2,000 people, and many of our council people spoke to many people too. So we speak to a lot of people, and that's what we hear. I respect what you say, and thank you.
So there's no statistics on this?
No. Thank you.
Bonsoir, je m'appelle Patrick Bamard, 251 Melville, avenue Melville. Ma question est pour le maire. Alors, félicitations, Monsieur le maire et membre de conseil. So I have a question about the Southeast. I watched Projet struggle with Cabot Square. I was an observer down at the borough meetings near Barrie, also at City Hall, and Projet could not get its goals, its laudable goals, social goals, accomplished at Cabot Square. And that was a very big and painful failure for municipal authorities. I'm speaking about the City of Montreal, of course. And Mr. Mayor, almost as soon as you were elected on Daybreak, the CBC radio program, you said that one of your goals was to incentivize development. Is it possible for you to assure Westmounters that the mistakes with Cabot Square will not be replicated here in Westmount?
Yes, we don't intend to make mistakes. We hope to do things wisely. You realize this is actually the first day on the job for all of us. We were installed on a Friday. We had courses all last week, and this is our first technical day. We know a lot about the Southeast. This is a major focus. It's a major opportunity for us if we do it properly. And I said at the same time that we have to incentivize, I did say, you incentivize builders to build because you see the neglect, and maybe we've done that, or previously the council did that by their zoning changes, but at the same time, I also added, we have to make sure we get what we want. And that hasn't been 100% defined. That's a file we're going to be going into. But as I said, this is the first day for us, and this is a big file, and we will be going into, we don't intend to make mistakes. So thank you.
That's a very nice thing to hear. I have a second question.
Yes.
So you recognize, obviously, when you say we do not intend to make mistakes, you recognize how, I would say, subtle this is, actually, to tell you the truth. So I take it you're going to use the best urban planning methods when you're approaching the question of the development of that sector. Is that correct?
We have people in-house, we have people outside, but again, we haven't met on a council. I've had a briefing on the Southeast. I knew about it from before. We have a lot of documents and a lot of knowledgeable people here. I have had a briefing that lasted almost 2 hours, but council as a whole haven't done it yet. It'll be soon.
Can I suggest that you speak to Phyllis Lambert? I think she might have a lot to say to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joanna Stosic. I'm on the board for the Westmount Municipal Association. I want to congratulate everybody for an amazing campaign that you all ran. It has been interesting to watch in some of the districts. My question is pertinent to my district. It's District 7. Some of you may know that I ran for council as a city councilor in 2017, and one of the...
I'm very sorry.
Do you want more time? You want... No problem at all. So I ran, and one of my concerns was the area of District 7. I was born and raised in that district, and it really has digressed since then, meaning it's not very nice. People I spoke to when I went door to door were that they don't walk along St. Catherine because it's so ugly. Excuse me. It's so ugly. And so they go along de Maisonneuve to walk. I do that also because I like beautiful things. That's one of the reasons I live here. So I would like to know if anyone has any interest in looking at District 7, because the 2 prior councillors did not. And it is really important that when we're looking at District 8, it is so close. We also have commerce in that area, and I've never heard anyone show any interest towards them. So I was just wondering if that might be considered while you look at District 8. Please.
So what issue? So one thing, economic?
Yeah, it's to
So you'll
beautify
see-
the area in essence, so people are proud in District 7 to walk down the street, to walk down St. Catherine, and there are businesses along there.
So we have a focus on business. We have a new position created. You'll see it later in the agenda. We'll be voting on it. We have a Commissioner of Economic Development, and that includes all areas of Westmount where we can help businesses and indirectly help our citizens and us. So that's one issue. If there's any other issues that you have in mind, are you talking about security? I don't know what.
No,
what
not
else you-
security so much, although we do have a lot of people that are coming from the Atwater area.
Yeah.
So that is for sure something. And, not all of there are many apartments and condominiums there, and the area has not been addressed in terms of the population. So, there are things that are required, that we would like, I should say, not required, boulangeries, more friendly. When I grew up there were more stores, there were more community involvement, and that seems to have dissipated.
So we certainly would like to hear your comments. We will look at that.
Thank you.
And please feel free to send us your comments.
Okay, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Bonjour, Alain Forget, rue Anne-Moite. Félicitations au nouveau conseil, au nouveau maire. Deux choses, je vous encouragerais, comme monsieur a dit, de parler à Félix Lambert pour le redéveloppement du Sud-Ouest, mais vous souvenez aussi que Félix Lambert est responsable du Westmount Square, qui est un
Oui.
gratte-ciel, multi-étages, architecture moderne, densité, etc., etc. Elle a aussi fait ça, Félix Lambert. Ma question pour le maire et le conseil, c'est bref au sujet du retour en arrière pour les vidanges hebdomadaires. Est-ce qu'il y a des coûts reliés à ça et si oui, quels sont-ils?
Oui. On va parler bientôt. Ça coûte 9 700 par mois. Qui n'est
Par
pas,
mois.
oui, extra pour les 5 mois.
OK.
Merci.
Et le conseil est prêt à assumer ces...
On va voir.
c'est pas vous qui allez assumer, c'est
Oui.
tous nous autres qui allons assumer ces coûts-là.
On va voir bientôt. Merci.
Good evening, Alex Chairman de Casson. I'd just like to take a few minutes just to to congratulate actually every one of you that was elected in the past election. It was a pleasure meeting you on a personal note over the past few months. Je veux également remercier les équipes du greffe qui ont travaillé si fort au courant des derniers mois pour s'assurer que le processus électoral se déroule sans accroc. Donc, un gros merci également de ma part. So I'd like to ask a question about garbage collection tonight. I understand it was a change that was requested by a lot of people. I heard it myself, a few people, and I understand the reasons why Michael and the rest of the council actually want to bring it back. But my question, and I'll do a little preamble in the beginning if I may, but I would ask you to please consider the effects on the long term of any public policies that you will put forward throughout your mandate. When we're talking about garbage, the CMM, there's a rapport de la mise en œuvre des mesures de la gestion des matières résiduelles pour l'année 2024. One of the measures says that the municipalities have to offer at a maximum of 26 times a year garbage pickup. 69 municipalities of the CMM have already been putting the efforts forward to reach that measure, which means that 82% of municipalities in the CMM have already made efforts for it. Also, about garbage collection, I understand it's a relatively small cost, but in Terrebonne, there is a landfill site which is called Environ Connections. In 2027, the capacity of that landfill center will be at its maximum. And then the mayor, Mathieu Traversy, who has been reelected on November 2nd, has asked municipalities who will produce more garbage to pay 41 cents per ton of garbages that will be sent to Environ Connections. 50% of waste of the CMM goes there. I know it was a little preamble. I could leave those documents to the clerk.
Yes, thank you.
Again, I really understand why you're making those changes, and I was reassured, Mr. Mayor, that you were talking about a temporary reset.
Yes.
But could you please, and could council commit, as I've said, whenever you put public policies forward, could you please look at the long-term effects
Yes.
of any public policies
Yes.
that will be put forward?
Yes. Our long-term goal, and it's not that long-term, medium and long-term goal, is to dramatically improve what we were doing in the past. As I said before, dramatically decrease garbage and increase composting and increase recycling. But in our opinion, based on everything we know, it's a wise move to please people who are having a difficult time, and they can't come to meetings because they have little babies and with diapers that they can't do anything with. So we're going to help them, and it's only a 5-month thing. Thank
Perfect.
you. Thank you for your comment.
Can I ask another question, if I may, very quick question? I'm going to ask a question about the stairs on Holton that have been closed since last April. I know it's an issue that Mr. Chamy has been looking into, for having had many discussions with him. I know he told me that it was one of his priorities, but I would like to know, I know you've just arrived 2 weeks ago, but it will, I mean, is the city committed maybe to put forward the repairs of the Holton stairs in next year's capital's work budget?
Yeah, actually, somebody asked this question in writing. Our public works and engineering departments are reviewing options now to determine what we can do, maybe on an interim basis, to reopen the stairs, and we're looking at that now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Good evening, and congratulations to the Mayor and the sitting council members. My name is Ross Brown from Victoria Avenue, and I am a member of the Westmount Environmental Sustainability Advisory Committee. And I just wanted to make sure that the Mayor knew that that we'd been working on a report for 2 years and had just submitted it, because the other two mayoral candidates extensively quoted from it in their platforms. And I note that, Monsieur Maire, you didn't acknowledge that report. So I don't know, just wanted to make sure you were aware of that report.
Yes, so the report was filed, I've read it, 8th of September,
Okay.
recently done. There's a lot of good recommendations in there. And the first thing it says, it should have somebody in charge, because if you don't have anybody in charge, things won't get done. So I believe one of our councillors will be looking after that. It's, yes, sustainability, it's an important focus for us. We start with that report, which was well done, and we should see what we can implement on a timely basis.
Well, thank you very much. It's very encouraging. Just a second more local question, directed more at Sean Moss. He lives on our street, Victoria, just south of Sherbrooke. And in the last 6 months since Cafe Olympico opened, there's been a major increase in traffic and U-turns on Somerville. That, combined with the mess of people trying to turn left into Metro, creates real traffic problems. And I noticed I've almost been hit several times crossing Somerville from people who are anxious to do their U-turn and whatever. So I don't know if there's anything that can be done on that street, but it's becoming an issue.
So thank you for your comments. So what we're doing, you'll see each councillor has certain responsibilities, and we'll be meeting with our Director General and the appropriate person in charge of the department. We actually have a meeting set up with Mr. McBain, who I saw him here, as head of public security, and thanks for mentioning that. We will bring that up. Thank you.
Good evening. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Mayor, and all the city councilors. I wish you lots of success. My name is Alice Becker-Lehrer. I've been a citizen of Westmount my whole life, since 1947. You can do the math. My question is, now that we live on Churchill Avenue, we have quite a few issues with Churchill. There are 2 speed limits, one going down and another one going up. There's seems to be a lack of
enforcement of the bylaw, the 4-hour bylaw, as teachers and students from Selwyn come early in the morning, park their cars, and then come like back at 3 or 4 o'clock. I've raised some of these issues before, but one of the main questions I have is would you consider giving the residents, some residents, that orange pass for part of the street so that we have a chance to park when we have stickers to have overnight parking and we can never find a place.
So we have a traffic committee, if you will,
Yeah.
and I myself, I took notes of that. We will bring it to the committee. In addition, while I was campaigning, I knocked on a lot of doors. People told me a lot of things, a lot having to do with speed. I was surprised. Speed and the need for speed bumps and all kinds of streets. Amazing, actually. So I took notes of all these things, and we will be discussing all of them with our traffic committee, including what you just told me.
I just
So
think
can't
at
answer you,
one
but we
point
will look
too,
at it.
the difference in speed limits on the same street
Yeah,
seems
that's
to be
kind of odd.
confusing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Annie Gilcaire, j'habite au 4837 boulevard de Maisonneuve-Ouest. Je suis dans le district 5. Je viens de mettre mon foulard vert parce que je vais me préoccuper de tout ce qui est environnement. C'est très quétaine. Mon fils de 19 ans me l'a dit, mais ça me fait plaisir d'être ici pour vous parler de ce qui me préoccupe. J'aimerais savoir quelles autres solutions avez-vous considérées à part remettre la collecte à toutes les 2 semaines? Parce qu'il y a beaucoup d'autres solutions,
Oui.
mais vous en avez choisi qu'une seule.
Oui.
I'll say it in English so I make sure you understand.
I understand.
So I want to know how
There's
many
many solutions, and
solutions.
why did we choose this one?
Yeah, but there was no. I want to know about the other solution
So-
that you didn't consider before putting back the garbage collection every week.
So there's a lot of potential suggestions, and I encourage you to write them in. We've received a lot of emails, a number of emails from people with suggestions, which we have a capable staff here. Everything is being forwarded to our directrice generale, and we have an appropriate department that will be looking at all possible solutions
No,
for
my
this.
question is, why did you choose to go back instead of examining those solutions?
Because we don't have the time to look at all the solutions that
Well,
come up,
the
in
on-
our opinion. In our opinion, we don't have time, so we're enacting this to help people for 5 months that they shouldn't suffer, and they've been suffering, and we will come up with good solutions, hopefully with your help. So feel free to write them in, whatever your comments are, and we will, I promise you, look at everything. There's a lot of very different solutions, and we want to look at what other cities are doing. We don't want to make a rash decision. The rash decision, you may see, is a rash decision to collect the garbage every week. It's a 5-month temporary thing. So that
So
we
we
see
have
that as,
your word in front of this council that it
Yes,
will be a
that-
temporary thing to have a collection
yes,
every week?
was what we're voting on tonight. It's only temporary to the end of
Well, temporary
April.
could be undone, right?
That's what we're voting on now. It's temporary. We have no intention to do anything different than what we're discussing today.
My second question is, how come garbage is a subject more important than the lead in my water that my family has been drinking for 20 years?
So that's also on.
I'd like to understand how this subject could be on top of your pile compared to the lead in my water that
Yeah.
my family has been drinking for the last more than 20 years.
That's a meeting we have to have with our engineers. I know whenever they fix roads, they do replace a lot of the entries. Actually, I can tell you my own house, I replaced my water entry. I was forced to. It was leaking, and apparently I still have lead coming into the house. Nobody knows why. I have copper pipes, and somebody from the city delivered a water filter. I asked, what is this for? I was told to deliver this to a number of people, and you're one of them.
Donc, j'ai une
So-
demande. J'ai
so-
regardé les
so-
dépenses de la ville qui
Yeah.
met beaucoup de services pour évaluer et tester l'eau. J'aimerais savoir si les citoyens peuvent savoir si c'est leur entrée qui contient du plomb ou l'entrée de la ville. Parce que si c'est mon entrée, je vais faire les travaux. Mais
Oui.
si je fais les travaux puis c'est la ville, à quoi ça sert?
So I don't know the answer to that, but we will find out. It's on our agenda already to look at that.
Très bien,
Thank you.
merci.
Merci.
Good evening. Welcome. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I also want to talk about water.
Okay.
I live on Sherbrooke on the south side near Westmount Park. Pardon? Dana Evan on Sherbrooke Street. I am east of Westmount Park, just.
Okay.
And they tore up the street about more than 5 years ago across from us on the north side, and because the pipes were leaching a lot of lead. When I requested when it's our turn going to be on the south side, they said we can't possibly do both at the same time. It'll probably be a couple of years. 5 years later, more than 5 years later, nothing. When I called, I spoke to engineers, and they said, first of all, there are thousands of Westmount households that have this problem, and that unfortunately my request, they said that funds had been allocated elsewhere. So I had my water retested. It was very high. I also received a zero water filter, dumped on my doorstep. Goodbye. So that to me was unacceptable. Then when I see all the funds being allocated to, beautify Victoria Village, make the sidewalks wider, and so on and so forth, it really hit hard. And I felt, does Westmount really care about making sure and prioritizing that we have good drinking water? And if so, what really will be done? Because the answers that I was given just fell flat.
So thank you very much for your comment. It will definitely be looked at. Drinking water is very important. Everybody in Westmount pays Westmount taxes. They should have clean drinking water as best as possible. So let me look into that. I know we have pipes that are 100 years old, and they're being replaced one by one. There's been no money set aside to do this because when they were 80 years old, I figured they're still good. But by the time they're 100 years old, they're not good anymore. So we will look into that.
But honestly, is water, the priority? I understand we needed to develop Westmount Park, and a lot went on there. It was beautiful, and what they've done with the sidewalks is beautiful. But drinking water, it's to me, it should be at the top of the list.
Yes.
And I'd like to know when, because I was told a couple of years, 5 years later, I was told, sorry, no money. So the concern is when. Thank
Can't
you.
answer you when, but it's a high priority.
Thank
Especially now that you mentioned it was already on my list, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lucien Savard, avenue Clermont. Je vais commencer par vous donner 3 indices. Saint-Basile-le-Grand, une ville à côté d'Otterburn Park et de Saint-Bruno. Deuxième indice, les BPC. Troisième indice, les transformateurs. Vous savez ce que c'est? You know what a transformer is?
Yes, electrical
Okay.
transformer you're talking about?
That's right.
Okay.
So, just to bring back memories, la ville de Saint-Basile a dû demander à tous ses citoyens pendant 10 jours, en 1998, d'évacuer à cause de l'incendie dans des transformateurs
But
contenant du
what's your
BPC.
question? Let me understand
Question
the
is
question.
that in front of Hydro Westmount
Yes.
on Glen, there's an accumulation of those transformers. Et ça fait des années que c'est là. J'ai déjà apporté la question à
Pas
l'administration.
utilisé?
Non, c'est des anciens transformateurs.
Oh.
Qu'ils ne soient pas utilisés ou pas utilisés, ça apporte peu. C'est des transformateurs. C'est une source potentielle
Oui, ce danger.
de pollution si le feu prend là-dedans. Pire que ça, maintenant, en plus des transformateurs qui sont installés devant la bâtisse derrière une soi-disant textile vert, il y en a dans un stationnement à côté, non protégé, non sécurisé. À mon avis, on a sûrement des places ailleurs, à Westmount. Je comprends que vous êtes exigu dans le centre bitume, dans le garage, mais c'est sûrement une possibilité de prendre cela puis de mettre ça dans un endroit sécurisé en attendant d'en disposer par les moyens à votre disposition. Fait que ma question, c'est quand ça va arriver, ça? J'en ai parlé il y a 3 ans.
The first I hear of it, that doesn't sound like it's a good thing
Pas
that they're
compliqué.
left there. It's not complicated, and we will look into that. Okay. The Directrice Generale says she will look into it. J'ai pris
Merci.
note aussi, merci.
My name is Barbara Wynn. I live on Metcalf Avenue. Mr.
Hi,
Mayor,
Barbara.
thank you very much for your responding to my email. Mr. Levine, thank you for responding to mine. I'm really talking to the rest of the council and also to the people here present. On Metcalfe Avenue, there's one terribly, terribly negligent house at the corner of
On the
Metcalfe
corner.
and Melrose and Melbourne. There is a second one. The city doesn't see it because
know.
it is in a terrace. The terrace in which I live, it happens to be my next-door neighbor.
I know.
But the next-door neighbor is not there. My interest is in, now that the city perhaps is able to find people who do not live in their residence, that they would get on and do with it.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Levine. You said that the previous council had looked into some legal being. I would like this to be looked at further. Also, to the people here present, if you know of anybody in your area who is not there, please, the only way for the city to know is perhaps for you to tell them. Because it is, I'm paying my taxes, you're paying your taxes, and for the poor person who has to live next to the house at the corner of Melbourne and Metcalfe, I feel very sorry for them. I
So-
don't know what taxes
so
they
you-
pay, but.
So you are correct. So first of all, that house on the corner is the subject of a lawsuit. We've taken,
Oh, is that, okay, thank you.
Yes.
This is what I think I'd like to know, because I'm very interested in it.
okay. And the
anything-
second thing is, I came knocking on your door and I know about that house next to you, and you have a recommendation, which you sent in writing, which is a good recommendation. You told us that City of Montreal has recently adopted a bylaw strengthening maintenance standards and adding specific requirements for vacant buildings, vacant houses as well. And you propose that Westmount should adopt a similar bylaw. Our administration is working on it, and it makes a lot of sense. Somebody doesn't occupy a house, especially if they leave it dilapidated, it affects the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, it's deteriorating when next.
And by the way, your brother's a very nice man. I worked with him for 45 years.
You can praise him when he comes. Okay. Anyway, thank you. My other thing is, I'm 90, and the garbage problem is not a problem for me whatsoever.
Yes,
So it
I know.
can be dealt with.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Helene Kligger. I live on Roslyn Avenue,
Yes.
and I want to, I'm so glad to see all these new faces and some not-so-new faces. And I'm very optimistic that we will move forward very positively. I came to talk about the water situation, but it's already been talked about, so I will forego what I wanted to say and just ask the council to be very open, whether it's through the independent or other means, about the water situation.
The lead in the
It wa-
water, yes.
It was a total shock to me, having had my pipes redone 20 years ago. I live on Roslyn, just above Westmount Avenue, and my friend, who just told me about her situation with the water, lives Roslyn below Westmount Avenue in Côte Saint-Antoine, and she was delivered this purifier, which I was just received that too on my doorstep without any notice. So I was very, very shocked. When my road was done, when the road from Westmount Avenue to the boulevard was done, almost 20 years ago, or about that time, the pipes were changed underneath, and at that time, I changed my entry because it was all opened, and my neighbor, my adjoining neighbor, did the same, and we changed our pipes, and we were very happy. And the water tastes amazing, by the way. But I engaged in this new testing program that this city offered, and I was shocked when he had to come back for a second testing to find that there was contaminants, more than lead. So I got that purifier delivered. My main thing is that it will be dealt with, but I was absolutely surprised to hear. This was the first time I was ever hearing about this. Having my friend that lives below me said that, well, they were told that they're never going, they're going to get their pipes fixed when they do the streets, and nobody can give them a date for that. It could be years. But we
So-
already had our streets done. We had the pipes done, and we still have lead.
So we're going to look into that. We have to look at all our infrastructure, but lead in the pipes, it's very...
There's more than lead.
I-
There's those PFOAs or
Well,
something, yeah.
We'll be
Also.
looking into that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Lillian Fox de Maisonneuve. Congratulations
Thank you.
to Mayor Stern and all the candidates. I was curious about something, Mayor Stern. Before the election, in the Independent, all the candidates were asked to answer certain questions.
Yes.
And you declined, so I was always curious.
I didn't decline. That's a very interesting question.
Yeah, well,
It's not right. So what it was is I like to do things properly. So these questions were asked of us and told specifically, give yes or no for half the questions, and the other ones give a short answer. So I felt that we could not, and that's what I answered. I could not answer the questions properly in the allotted time, so I cannot answer those the way you want them. For instance, one question wants a yes or no answer. Should we have an indoor pool, comma, bearing in mind our financial situation? Well, it's a very long question. What is our financial situation? Can we have it done in the pool in the southeast? Can we get somebody to pay for it? Can we take the existing pool? I have plans to put a dome on it that we could use it in the like an inside pool. So it wasn't a yes or no, but the newspaper decided to say that I deliberately declined, which was not correct. That was not correct what they put in
Everyone
there.
else managed,
Okay.
so you're different.
Thank you. I don't think they gave meaningful answers, many of them. But anyway. Thank you. So that ends our question period. We continue. Item number 4, adoption of the agenda. Councillor Chamy.
Bonjour, Monsieur le maire. Je propose que l'ordre de jour de la séance ordinaire du Conseil du 17 novembre 2025 soit adopté avec l'ajout de points suivants sous affaires nouvelles. Nomination chef de division urbanisme.
Do I have a seconder? Yes, Councillor Aronson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I don't have to vote, by the way, as mayor, but I decide to vote. Next item, number 5, confirmation of minutes. Councillor Chamy.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Je propose que le procès-verbaux des séances ordinaires du Conseil tenues le 8 septembre 2025 et le 1er octobre 2025 soient approuvés et que le procès-verbal de la séance extraordinaire du Conseil tenue le 18 septembre 2025 soit approuvé.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 6.1, reports to council. 6.1 is correspondence. Just certain documents are being tabled. I don't think it's necessary for me to read them. 6.2, minutes of the General Committee of Council. Councillor Chamy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The minutes of the General Committee of Municipal Council meetings held July 7th, 2025, August 29th, 2025, and the 8th of September, 2025 are tabled and are now available on the city's website.
Do I have a seconder?
You don't
You
need
don't need a vote for that item, it's just a table.
just a table.
Okay, sorry. Item 6.3, workforce report.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Le rapport de la main-d'œuvre pour le mois de septembre 2025 est maintenant déposé.
Thank you. 6.4, payment registry. Councillor D'Amico.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. La liste des paiements pour le mois de septembre 2025 est déposée.
Thank you. 6.5, list of approvals in virtue of bylaw 1507. Councillor D'Amico.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In accordance with bylaw 1507 on the delegation of powers to certain employees of the City of Westmount, the list of authorization of expenditures for the month of September 2025 is tabled.
Thank you. 6.6, list of duties on transfers invoices. Councillor D'Amico.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. La liste de facturation des droits de mutation pour le mois de septembre 2025 sont déposés.
Thank you. General Business and Administration, item number 7, position regarding the Montreal Agglomeration Council 2025 and 2026. Councillor Chamy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the mayor, or in his absence, the acting mayor, be authorized to make any decision deemed appropriate regarding the items on the agenda of the meetings of the Agglomeration Council of Montreal to be held from November 2025 through December 2026 in the best interests of the City of Westmount and its residents.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor? Aye. I guess I can vote for myself too. Thank you. Any opposed? Item number 8, appointment of acting mayor 2025 and 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Mr. Jeff J. Chamy, District 3 Councillor, be appointed acting mayor for the months of November and December 2025 and January 2026.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Aronson, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Prochaine. Number 9, appointment of council members to commissions. So we're actually very excited about that. You'll see there's a lot of new positions, new phrases, new terminology. We want to focus on things that we believe are important, and we've taken into account the skills and the experience of our counselors. We have a great group of counselors here with different backgrounds, different interests, and different experience, but a lot of experience in different areas. So, Councillor Chamy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the following councillors be appointed to the following commissions. Antonio D'Amico, Commissioner of Finance and Hydro Westmount, and a member of the Finance and Administration Commission. Jonathan Chomsky, Commissioner of Economic Development, Infrastructure, and Information Technology. Jeff J. Chamy, Commissioner of Public Works, Accessibility and Mobility, and Chair of the Finance and Administration Commission. Gurveen K. Chadha, Commissioner of the Library, Culture, and Community Events, and a member of the Public Library Committee. Sean Moss, Commissioner of Sports and Recreation, Commissioner of Urban Planning and Sustainable Development. Paul Levine, Commissioner of Public Order, Liaison with Merchants Associations, and member of the Finance and Administration Committee. Mr. Matt Aronson, Commissioner of Legal Affairs and of Communications, and the Commissioner for Parks and Green Spaces. Kathleen Kez, Commissioner of Public Safety and a member of the Finance and Administration Committee. And that the mayor shall be ex officio member of all commissions and all committees. Thank you, Mr.
Do I have a seconder? D'Amico. All in favor? Any opposed? I'm excited with this new council and our responsibilities. We look forward to working with our administration and in all these areas. Thank you. Item number 10, appointment elected members of the Planning Advisory Committee. Councillor Aronson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the Act respecting land use, planning, and development, and whereas the bylaw 1575 establishing an advisory committee and said calls that said committee shall include 2 elected members of council, I move that Councillors Jonathan Chomsky and Sean Moss be appointed as members of the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC, effective November the 17th, 2025, for a term of 2 years, renewable by resolution of council. And further, I move that Councillor Jeff J. Chamy be appointed as the alternate member for the PAC for elected officials.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chadha. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. When we speak about PAC, I just want to mention, I've highlighted before, our permitting process could be improved and could be more friendly to the users. And these 2 people who are on PAC, our 2 councillors, will form an ad hoc committee to look at the whole permitting process in conjunction with our capable staff here to see what we can do better for going forward for the permitting process. We'll keep you posted. Thank you. Contractual matters. Item number 11, awarding of a contract for the rental of 13 12-wheel trucks with operators for snow removal. PUB 2025-057. Councillor Chamy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that council award Courret Transport Incorp. the contract for the rental of 13 12-wheel trucks with operators for the 2025-2026 winter season, and that council authorize an expenditure of $298,935, taxes included, and that the funds required for this expenditure be drawn from available funds in budget item 02-33100-516.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item number 12, contract addendum, collection and transportation of household waste and food waste, PUB 2023-039. Call on Councillor Levine.
Whereas on December 18, 2023, Council awarded a contract for the collection and transportation of household waste and food waste, PUB 2023-039, to de Richembourg, Canada Environnement, Inc., Resolution 2023-12-344. Whereas the awarded contract provides for biweekly household waste collection between the months of October and April for single-family homes and buildings with 2 to 8 dwelling units. Whereas contract PUB-2023-039 was awarded for waste collection services until 2027, and therefore 2 biweekly collection periods remain in effect until the end of the contract, October 2025 to April 2026, and October 2026 to April 2027. Attendu que le Conseil souhaite se prononcer sur l'ajout de collecte pour la période hivernale actuelle jusqu'à avril 2026, afin que celle-ci soit à toutes les semaines entre les mois de décembre 2025 à avril 2026. Attendu que le prix supplémentaire pour l'ajout de collecte des odeurs chaque semaine, de décembre 2025 à avril 2026, est de 56 128 21 sous, toutes taxes incluses. I move that the City of Westmount enter into an addendum to contract PUB-2023-039 with de Richembourg, Canada Environnement, Inc., in order to add waste collections and render them weekly between December 2025 and April 2026, under the same terms and conditions provided in the original contract. That the head of the Environment Division of the Public Works Department be authorized to sign, on behalf of the city, this addendum to contract PUB-2023-039. Qu'un montant de 56 128 21 sous, taxes incluses, soit ajouté au contrat pour l'ajout de ces collectes pour la période entre décembre 2025 et avril 2026. Que les sommes nécessaires aux fins de cette dépense soient puisées à même les disponibilités de poste budgétaire 02-451-10-446.
Do I have a seconder? Amico, all in favor?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
May we speak to this before we vote?
Yes.
May I have the floor?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd hoped that it would not come to this. We've worked very hard to reach some sort of a compromise on this issue. I want to be clear. I've also heard from residents who are struggling with biweekly collection, parents with infants, and seniors managing products that they cannot store between landfill pickups, people with medical waste that can't keep certain materials for up to 13 days, even in winter, and families who need alternatives for times when their landfill waste is extraordinarily voluminous and they will be away from their homes during biweekly pickup. And these are legitimate concerns, and these residents deserve solutions. But this rollback, in my opinion, and I plead with my fellow councillors to vote it down, for this is not the solution. We've also heard from many residents, many of whom are here tonight, that they support the current schedule and they do not want to see it reverted to the pre-2024 system. We must be honest about where we are. Toronto moved to a year-round biweekly system of collection in 2008. That's 17 years ago. Vancouver did it in 2013. Halifax has had biweekly since 1999. Cities like Ottawa and Sudbury have biweekly collection and have developed targeted accommodation programs for residents with medical waste needs. Westmount isn't leading on this issue. We're not even keeping pace. And on this vote, we're actively choosing to be laggards. And here's what makes it particularly difficult. As you know, the CMM legally requires us to return to biweekly collection year-round by the end of 2027. That's just over 2 years from now. So we are going to spend over $50,000 this winter to temporarily reverse a program that we will be forced to reinstate and do the transition again. And we can solve the issues for those struggling with non-compostable, non-recyclable items and a lack of storage capacity. I have already proposed an alternative, a targeted accommodation program that would cost orders of magnitude less, providing weekly pickup for residents with documented medical and/or infant-related needs during biweekly periods. We could pause now, continue what we are already doing, use our existing public works capacity if possible, and designate a drop-off option at a public works facility for times when families simply have overflow of non-compostable, non-recyclable waste. We could take the time to validate that proposal and then decide between that and this. Other cities have done it. We could do it. If you vote yes on this proposal, you are choosing not to. Now, I understand political pressure.
How much more
And I understand that residents are frustrated.
minutes.
And I understand that my colleagues believe this rollback is responding to constituent concerns and complaints. But responding to concerns with bad policy is still bad policy, no matter how well-meaning.
Okay.
Our professionals and experts have recommended against this rollback. You all know the data why. We have alternatives to reversing the results today. We're just not using them. I can't vote for it. I urge my fellow councillors not to vote for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Councillor, your proposals that you talked about are not ready. You may think they are, but the DG who runs this place says they can't do it. So I'm not talking about it anymore. We're not talking about it anymore. We're voting. All in favor? Any opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. Motion passed. Where are we now? Number 13, renewal of contract, professional services for the analysis of lead concentration in water, PUB 2025-006. Councillor Chomsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that contract PUB 2025-006 with Enviro Services, Inc. be extended for the fiscal 2026 year for a total of $61,558.76. Taxes included, including the tax credit, will be $56,211.36. That the funds required for this expenditure be drawn from the available funds in budget item 23-310-10-001.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Shami? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 14, renewal of contract, emergency repairs and the maintenance of water and sewer networks. PUB 2021-044. Councillor Chomsky.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. Je propose que le contrat PUB 2021044 pour les réparations d'urgence et d'entretien des réseaux d'aqueduc et d'égouts de la ville de Westmount de construction Morival Limité soit renouvelé avec construction Morival Limité pour l'année 2026 au montant estimé de 1,574,189,61, toutes les taxes compris, et que le Conseil autorise l'émission du bon de commande. That the actual cost of the CPI-adjusted amount be calculated in February 2026 based on the CPI published for the last months of 2025. That the funds required for this expenditure be drawn from the available funds in budget item 0241200521.
Just to clarify that this is a purchase order, and it's an authorization up to a certain amount, but we only get charged for what we use and what has to be fixed. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Sean Moss, sorry. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, motion passes. Number 15, contingency repair of Claremont Avenue between Notre-Dame-de-Grâce et Lorraine Avenues, PUB 2025-033. Councillor Chomsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that an additional amount of $61,596, including the tax credit, be allocated to the contract for the repair of Claremont Avenue between Notre-Dame-de-Grâce and Lorraine Avenues, PUB 2025-033, awarded to Kojalac Inc., that the contract awarded to Kojalac Inc. in accordance with this call for tenders be increased to $4,004,537.97, taxes included, that the funds required for this expenditure be drawn from the available funds in budget items 2331051-024 and 23311-02034.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Levine. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Lost my space here. 16, budget adjustment, electrical connection project for the temporary modular complex at the mess hall, DDP 2024-022. Councillor Chamy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the increase in the value of contract DDP 2024-022 be awarded to Compagnie Électrique Briton Limitée and be authorized for a total amount of $88,857.28, taxes included, and that an additional amount of $343.13, taxes included, be added to the purchase order BC 030365, and finally, that the necessary funds for this expenditure be taken from the budget item 23-312-03002.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chada. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, 17, which is a group purchase with the City of Montreal. We buy certain things with the other cities. It helps bring down the cost. Supply an on-demand delivery of winter abrasives, 22-19390. I call upon Councillor Chamy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that an expenditure of $21,411.93, taxes included, which has a $19,551.95, including tax credits, be authorized for the year 2025 as part of the consolidated purchase agreement with the City of Montreal for the acquisition and delivery of AB10M aggregate, and that an expenditure of $64,235.79, taxes included, be authorized for this contract, and that the funds required for this expenditure be drawn from available funds in budget item 58-250-00-000.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Levine. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Passed. Number 18, mandate for legal services, Bélanger Sauvé, file 500-22-273-414-220. I call upon Councillor Aronson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas on July the 14th, 2022, Sandra Levy and Olivia Anselm Levy filed a lawsuit against the city to cancel transfer tax bills related to 100 Summit Circle. And whereas the firm Bélanger Sauvé, CEN CRLE had been mandated by the city to ensure its defense in file 500-22-273414-220. And whereas the trial took place on February the 13th, 2025, and the decision was received on September the 25th, 2025, and whereas the judgment grants the plaintiff's request, cancels the transfer tax account, and orders the city to reimburse Olivia Anselm Levy the sum of $220,000 plus interest. And whereas on September the 29th, 2025, the city's attorneys provided the legal department with a legal opinion recommending that it appeal this decision. And whereas the estimated legal fees for the appeal of proceedings are approximately $20,000 to $30,000 plus taxes and appeal brief fees. And whereas the deadline for filing the appeal proceedings is November the 20th, 2025, and whereas the city's legal department wishes to obtain permission to initiate appeal proceedings and to grant the mandate to the city's lawyers in this matter, I move that council authorize the appeal proceedings for file 500-22-273414-220 and mandate Bélanger Sauvé to represent the city. I further move that the council authorize an expenditure of $31,496.25, including tax credit, for the proceedings in this matter. And finally, I move that the funds required for this expenditure be drawn from the available funds in budget item 02140-00-412.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councilor Levine. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 19, additional funds, expertise by Atkins Realis. I call upon Councilor Aronson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the City of Westmount has instituted legal proceedings in court file number 500-17-098516-175 against the Minister des Transports, otherwise known as the MTQ, and KPH Turcotte, a Partnerat SENC, to have them build at their expense a sound barrier along the southwest lane of Route 136. And whereas an agreement was reached between the City of Westmount, the MTQ, and KPH to mandate SNC Lavalin Incorporated, now called Atkins Realis, to produce joint expertise along with three parties sharing the costs equally. And whereas on the 5th of October 2022, Council awarded the contract to SNC Lavalin, now known as Atkins Realis, for a maximum amount of $195,457.50, taxes included, under Resolution number 2022-10-234, divided amongst the three parties. And whereas addendums were required to complete the mandate awarded to SNC Lavalin Incorporated, now Atkins Realis, which were granted by Resolutions 2023-05141 and 2024-10-248. And whereas SNC Lavalin, now Atkins Realis, required additional funding to analyze the data collected as part of its appraisal, and whereas Council has adopted on October 2025, a resolution 2025-10-264, authorizing the signing of a settlement and release agreement to put an end to the legal proceedings aforementioned, 500-17-127-825-233 and 500-17-098 516-174 related to this expert report. And whereas the Director of Legal Services and the City Clerk recommends the addition of an amount of $6,892.06, taxes included, to purchase order BC 028357, I move that an amount of $6,892.06, taxes included, be added to purchase order BC 028357 for Atkins Realis, formerly known as SNC Lavalin, and I further move that the funds required for this expenditure be taken from the available appropriations under budget item 02-140-00-412. I can do that again if you want.
Do I have a seconder? Councilor Shami, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried, thank you. Item number 20, Purchase authorization for the utility vehicle for salting and clearing alleys. Call upon Councillor Chamy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the Public Works Department be authorized to purchase a vehicle for salting and clearing alleys for a maximum amount of $90,000, all taxes included, $82,182, including tax credit, and that the funds required for this expenditure be drawn from the available funds and budget item 23-314-00-032.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Aronson, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Urban Planning, item number 21, tabling of the Planning Advisory Committee, the PAC, minutes of October 2025. Councillor Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the council take note of and accept the tabling of the minutes of the Planning Advisory Committee, that's the famous PAC, for the following meetings. Regular meeting held on October 7 and 9, 2025. Extraordinary meeting held on October 7, 2025. Minor exemption applications.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Aronson, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passed, thank you. 22, approval of site planning and architectural integration programs, SPA IP. Councillor Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that council act on the recommendations of the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC, as set out in the minutes of the regular meeting held on October 7 and 9, 2025. There were 17 applications, and that it approve, with respect to each of them, the plans and permit conditions attached to the items listed in the resolution. That's it.
Okay. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Levine, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Human Resources, item number 23, renewal of the mandate of Claude Ladouceur on the Pension Committee for the officers and the employees of the City of Westmount. Councillor Levine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Mr. Ladouceur's mandate as a designated member of the Pension Committee for the officers and employees of the City of Westmount be renewed for a period of 3 years, pursuant to Bylaw 1530, concerning the pension plan for the officers and employees of the City of Westmount, Section 9.1.c.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor D'Amico, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 24, appointment. I didn't miss anything, no? Appointment of the Director of Public Works Department, Councillor Chamy.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. Je propose que le Conseil approuve la nomination permanente de Monsieur Maxime Hubner-Sauveur au poste de directeur des travaux publics à compter de 2 décembre 2025, et ici conformément aux conditions de travail et de rémunération du personnel cadre, et que la rémunération soit fixée selon le groupe de traitement 3, taux 2025, et à même les disponibilités du poste budgétaire 02 310 00111, et finalement que cette nomination soit assujettie à une période d'approbation conformément à la Convention sur les conditions de travail et de rémunération du personnel cadre.
This is an important position for us. We always have somebody in that position as head of the department. The person who was there before left in August to go back to another country where they were from, and we're excited about having this new person on board. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Moss, all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carried.
Et félicitations, Monsieur Hubner-Sauveur.
New business, item number 25, appointment head of division, urban planning. I call upon Councillor Chamy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to try this. That I move that council approve the permanent appointment of Mr. Jaime Alejandro Calderon Cantero to the position of Head of Division Urban Planning, effective January 12, 2026, in accordance with the working conditions and compensation applicable to the management personnel, and that his remuneration be established according to Pay Group 6 2026 rate and be drawn from the available funds in Budget 02-610-00111. And finally, that this appointment be subject to a probationary period in accordance with the management personnel working conditions and compensation agreement.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Aronson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carried.
Félicitations, Monsieur Calderon.
Thank you. We have a second question period, and maybe should we take the questions? Okay. Yes.
Hi, my name's Marina Bresky, 364 Grosvenor, District 5. Congratulations, Mayor Stern.
Thank you.
Congratulations, my Councillor Moss, and all of you. Thank you very much. I just had a question for items 15 and 16. So sometimes when we receive these, the title is general and the description is financial, but we don't really know what it's about. So could you please elaborate on item 15 and 16, please? Well, 15 would be the reconstruction of Claremont. So in the context of the road reconstruction, this contingency repair is due to what in the big picture of things?
So can I call on Director General Julie?
I can answer the first one. Item for Clermont 15. Yeah, quand on a creusé, en fait, ils ont réalisé que des conduits d'hydro avaient été affaissés et qu'il y a eu des bris aussi avec la brique de la structure souterraine. Donc, ça a dû être remplacé. Donc, ce n'était pas prévisible dans les plans.
Ah, c'était remplacé après les rénovations ou avant? C'était après le projet.
C'est durant le projet, oui.
Durant le projet. Ah, c'est des sommes excédentaires.
Tout à fait.
OK, je comprends. Merci. Item 16 is with regards to a temporary modular complex at a mess hall. Just wondering where that mess hall is.
I can answer this one too. It's in the Public Works yard. The mess hall is the room where our blue collars eat, change, and it's like not a kitchen, mais avec their lockers and everything. We renovated this. It was a project. And we have trailers in the yard. The project was a bit longer, so we have to put, buy more electricity and do more work for electricity there.
So it's temporary modular structure.
Oui, on les défait en
because
décembre.
There's a construction
site, yeah.
Site
at the Public Works.
That a new building's coming up soon.
No, it's a renovation of the mess hall of the building.
Hall. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Hi.
Good evening. Robert Cohen. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
I've been coming to this council meeting only in the last few months, and it's a little quieter here tonight than it usually has been, which brings me to one of two questions. The Southeast. Mr. Mayor, you yourself said it was rushed, and I think it's unfortunate it was rushed. I think the consultation process is unfortunate, and I'm particularly concerned about a couple of issues. Dorchester, the two properties that the city owns, there's clearly a future development that can happen. The rest of it, if anything can happen, is the development on properties that have been owned by the city of Westmount since the 60s. So there's two very interesting projects along Tupper in relation to that. And I'm sure that you will go through the process with the PAC and others, and hopefully with the public, as to what can happen, what the uses will be, who it will serve. I'm deeply concerned that the PMU produced a plan in which integrates, as the people on the south side were advocating, to have 3 to 6 story buildings, so that with terraces on 3 to 5 or 6 stories, with terraces in the back, so that the eye contact from people on the other side won't be with a tower. Unfortunately, that was not done on the west side. towards Atwater for reasons that are totally a mystery to me, because the logic of one applies to the other as well. This is an issue that has been advocated for many, many years. If it were not for people who did advocacy back in the 60s, even the South Side would be gone. So there's been a large interaction in relation to that issue. And I implore you, Mr. Mayor, to look at that again. And I would suggest this as an alternative. I don't know what the feasibility of this is, but it was voted on in September. It was agreed by Council on September the 18th. And the agglomeration now has to approve it. I would suggest you look seriously at, and I know this means the whole process, but the process is well engaged, and it's too bad that it's shut down at this point in time. To look at the agglomeration, you have contact with the Mayor of Montreal, Soraya Martinez-Ferrada, so that the decision should be an easy one to make for the agglomeration. To just pull it back and say, we want to suspend that until such time as we have a proper consultation. So I implore you, Mr. Mayor, and I ask for your advice in relation to that, whether you are interested in exploring that with legal counsel and going forward on that issue.
Okay, but you took note of it?
Hi, Mr. Cohen, how are you?
Very well.
I just want to make sure we capture all your comments. So specifically on the southeast, the whole area, I told you it's our first day on the job, if you will, and we have to be briefed on this, and we have to figure out where we're going from here. We want to do the right thing. We don't want to make mistakes, as we said, and we want to do the best for the city, bearing in mind Westmount's heritage. And we want to do what's best for everyone. But I just want to make sure that we have your specific comments, and we will look into it. So
Basically, you're asking if we can...
on the Dorchester side, you're saying?
On the Dorchester side, it's the area west of... east of Gladstone, sorry, the area east of Gladstone.
Okay.
The Kendrick building is at Tupper and Atwater, the Kendrick building. It's a 7-story building, the office building that's there.
Yes.
They also own the property, a good part of the property towards Gladstone. There's a small park. They were good citizens. They put a small park in there so people could sit down on the land they own. And there's underground parking next to it, which they also own. Well, they were given authority to put up a 7-story building, which defies the logic of what happened on the west side of Gladstone. And it will be exactly what the south side people have said we don't want to have. So what I'm saying is that you should look at that very carefully. If I'm going to add the Atwater Library, how that integrates, that's also an issue.
Yes, we know, we met with them.
And the massing that happened with the 5 owners on St. Catherine Street, all of those issues, in my view, should be looked at again with the proper people around the table, citizens as well as professionals, and not a group that did the Children's Hospital when they built 30 stories, okay, who decided that they were the group that came in unfortunately, due to the planning and the consultation during that time. So there are a number of issues there, but what I'm saying specifically is, and I don't know the legal answer to this, but it would seem to me there's a logic to that. It was deposited, there was a vote here, it was deposited after that, I assume, to the agglomeration, that the agglomeration should now be asked to suspend it. Until there's proper process here in Westmount, the city of Westmount.
Okay, thank you. We will look at everything you say, and we will get back to you. Okay. Thank you.
The second, just very short question, because I noticed as you are assigning mandates and everything, there's nothing about homelessness.
Yes.
And I would suggest that you also have a committee looking at homelessness. That's very much a southeast issue as well. But it's also, in a sense, but not nearly to the same extent, extended around the city of Westmount.
Yeah.
So I would, as you think about that one, I think to get the right people around the table, there's a whole process there.
Homelessness. So I think Kathleen will be looking at that. Am I right? But yeah. So I've spoken to our MNA, and I'll be meeting with her next week. That's a big issue, homelessness. It's beyond Westmount's capability to do everything on its own. I've reached out to Mr. Chapman, who's running an organization called Resilience, which is to help homeless people. It's just outside Westmount on Atwater, a little bit south of us. And they have a facility there. I spoke to them. They're under renovation. Jennifer Macaron said it's a big issue for the city as well, and I did speak to Mayor Soroya today, but she just got sworn in. I called to congratulate her. She said she had left me a message to congratulate me, and hopefully we'll work together. It's a big issue for the city of Montreal, and we know that we'll have to work together with them. It's an issue for us, we know. Thank you.
I could add also the Welcome Home Mission, which is just down the street from
Yes.
Westmount, which is an amazing facility in terms of what they do with homelessness, as well as the Old Road Mercy, which is further away. But for sure, the Sam Watts at the and the CEOS people, the social people responsible for services.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Richard Dufour from Anwath. One comment and two questions, if I may. Mayor Stern and fellow newly elected councillors, a lot of the campaigning that was done, from what I heard, was complaints about the former administration, our councillors saying that they were not listening to citizens, that they were acting unilaterally and lack of transparency and so on. And I find it a bit ironic that the first major decision that this council makes is to revert to the old garbage collection
We
system.
talked about that.
Yeah, so I just might finish my comment.
Yes.
And when I asked you if there were statistics on that, and you said there were not. So basically it seems to be as a result of a certain vocal portion, not necessarily the majority of the population. And I think that doesn't bode well in terms as a first initiative of council. It's a comment.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you have to appreciate what I've spoken to 2,000 people. I knocked on doors day and night, and many other people too here. So just because they're not here and they're not vocal doesn't mean they're not here. And it's not a major decision. As we're looking at it, it's for 5 months. We're stuck with it anyway, May 1st, but it gives us the time to do even better than what we do. To rush things, like the people are upset, rightfully so, maybe not rightfully so, but there are a lot of people are upset. So we figure this is the best thing to do for now. It's a low cost, it's temporary, it's 5 months, and gives us the time to do things properly and come up with maybe even world-class solutions, who knows? We're looking to try to find something that's good. We all want to be environmentally friendly, and we know we're going to be forced to, even if we don't want to, by the municipalities, the city of Montreal. So we're on the course. It's just a temporary reset. So I appreciate your comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
As you know, I disagree, and so do many people. My first question, the existing Environmental Sustainability Advisory Committee, ESAC, was nominated about a year and a half ago.
Yes.
Their mandate goes on till December 31st of this year, 2025. The question was, will that committee be renewed in terms of going forward after that in 2026? And if so, will it be the same members?
So
that's question number one.
Yes, sustainability is an important item, and we have Sean Moss as Commissioner of Urban Planning and Sustainable Development. I think he's going to be working with Matt Aronson, if I'm correct, because Matt Aronson was instrumental in the report. We're looking at the report and see what we can do with it. How we constitute a committee, I'm waiting for the recommendations. Again, it's their first day on the job. Thank you. It's important to us. Rest assured, it's important to us.
The second question, given that the committee is still standing and has a mandate up until the end of December, this question is addressed to Mr. D'Amico. Mr. D'Amico is a member of the committee, as is Mr. Aronson. Given what I saw of your vote today, which I believe really goes against what the committee would have suggested, and given that your participation rate was only about 50% on the committees, looking at the minutes, will I ask you if you will resign from that committee as of tonight?
Personally, I don't think the committee will continue. You now have a commissioner in charge of sustainability. As for my attendance on the committee, I clearly spoke to the mayor and council that I wanted my position to be rotating because I felt that I wanted to bring in the green accounting, and I felt that that was the best I could do for the committee. But, for example, if there's a discussion on biodiversity in the parks, I felt that the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation should sit in my place. So and it's clearly indicated, I sent you the reference in the report. So I didn't see my role as being there full-time. I saw my role as being there to support the financial stuff because green accounting is important to me. And as you know, the second step to green accounting is the green taxation. So that was the reason I went. I went to help, but I didn't see how I could deliver on the other stuff when you have a commissioner, for example, of urban planning that would address the building aspects that you cared about.
Yeah.
So I don't see how I should be there when I wanted it rotating. Unfortunately, it was not possible to do that, so unfortunately, that's what happened. But I clearly stated that in the report. I did attend everything that was related to finance, and the only data that was produced by that report was data that I was able to obtain.
Thank you.
So I think I've gone out of my way for the committee. I have no problem with this vote. I listened to the voter. The voters of District 1 gave me a clear message. That's what they wanted, and I voted, and I listened to the voter, and I delivered on what they wanted.
Thank you.
So what I understand is that you are resigning? Is that what I understand?
No.
Well,
no.
I didn't understand.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Julie Ledoux, 4383 Maisonneuve. Congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
election, re-election. I have a quick question, just a clarification number on item 19, additional funds. If I can have just some clarifications minus the numbers and dashes, that would be great.
What's the problem? 19?
Yes.
Oh, it was for the sound barrier. It was a balance of $6,800 that we had to pay. I don't know the details.
Okay, so it's only a previous contract and it was
Yes,
just an
yes,
additional amount?
correct.
Okay.
Thank
okay.
you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. My name's Kathy Farrell. I live at 4548 St. Catherine in District 7. Congratulations, everybody. Survived your first day. This is my first meeting, so I don't know how it works at all. I really appreciated hearing some of the questions about item number 15, 16. What is it really all about? I attended the Meet the Candidates at Victoria Hall, and one of the questions that came up, which at least the councillors will remember, was the Westmount Independent asking about $80,000. For some reason, I remember numbers a lot, so I thought, you know what? The city has given $40,000 to Victoria Merchants and $40,000 to the Green Avenue Courtier, and that's $80,000, and couldn't quite reconcile in my own mind the Westbound Independent and their role, which is pretty obvious to most citizens that it's a useful communication tool.
Yes.
And why were we giving $80,000 of the treasury
Okay.
to the merchants?
Yeah.
For what? And I couldn't really find any information either on the public website or through the merchants themselves as to what was that $80,000
So
for.
I don't know that. We have budget meetings coming up the next 2 days.
My only question is, before you renew it again,
Yeah.
could you commit to looking into
Yes,
the
absolutely.
real purpose of that money? Because a
Yes.
lot of the numbers we heard tonight
Yes.
are really crucial for lead water, which is just,
Yes.
like I can't even believe that this is going on in this century in Westmount, that $50,000 to test the lead and $80,000 for the merchants. Something seems a little out of whack, so just ask that you look into
Thank you.
it.
We will. Thank you.
Lucien Savard, c'est un suivi de ma question de tantôt. J'aimerais savoir comment vous allez fonctionner. Parce que quand un citoyen, exemple, la question des transformateurs accumulés sur Glen, comment vous allez fonctionner pour nous informer? Vous avez fait un suivi, une décision a été prise, puis ils sont transférés. Il ne faut pas attendre que je vois ça par moi-même, là. Comment vous allez fonctionner pour répondre à nos questions dans le temps? Je vais avoir d'autres questions à d'autres assemblées aussi. Mais parce que jusqu'ici, cette question-là que j'avais posée il y a 2 ou 3 ans à la précédente administration, on m'a apporté des situations. On négocie avec le ministère des Transports parce qu'ils ont pris un peu de terrain, il y a de l'expropriation. Mais en attendant, là, pouvez-vous déplacer des transformeurs, s'il vous plaît? Continuez à négocier avec le ministère des Transports, je n'ai pas de problème avec ça. Fait que ma question, c'est juste de savoir comment je vais savoir.
Donc, merci pour votre question, M. Savard. Donc, Je viens d'être nommé le commissaire pour Hydro-Westmount.
Bon
Donc,
choix.
Pour moi, c'est priorité numéro 1. Donc, je vais rencontrer le directeur, je vais rencontrer mes conseillers, je vais te donner un rapport. J'espère d'agir vite dans ce dossier-là. Donc, c'est priorité numéro 1 pour moi. Je suis au courant du problème, donc ce n'est pas quelque chose de nouveau. Mais je viens d'être nommé il y a quelques minutes. Donc,
Mais,
je
ma
m'en
question,
occupe.
M. D'Amico, pour fermer la loupe, comment je vais le savoir?
What's the question? If he sends in a question,
What is the feedback? How is the feedback done to the resident? So,
that's a good question.
mais je pense que
Director
vous avez posé,
General not here.
vous avez posé
So-
une question ce soir.
So you-
Donc, ce que nous, on va essayer de faire, c'est de répondre aux questions qui sont posées. Je suis sûr que la directrice générale et moi-même, on va vous procurer la réponse.
Oui. La plupart des fois, on reçoit des emails, on donne ça normalement à la directrice générale qui travaille, c'est eux qui s'occupent de toutes les affaires quotidiennes et ils regardent et donnent une réponse aux citoyens, aux résidents et nous sommes au courant par la directrice générale.
OK, potentiellement, je vais recevoir un courriel me disant que ça a été adressé. Oups, la directrice, c'est pas là.
Oui. C'est ça le plan.
Mais c'est dans les notes.
Oui, tout à fait. Si vous pouvez peut-être juste nous laisser vos coordonnées avant de partir, puis on va le prendre en note. Merci.
Je l'apprécierais beaucoup.
Oui.
C'est ça la transparence dont vous
Oui,
parlez.
c'est très important. Merci.
Oui, Alex Chamion, chemin de Casso. J'aimerais vous proposer une suggestion peut-être pour peut-être accroître le sentiment d'appartenance que l'on a envers notre ville, que je pense que l'on aime tous. Il y a plusieurs municipalités qui, dans le cadre de la semaine des municipalités, je crois, en septembre, qui ont publié pas mal de contenu visant à mettre en lumière les différents services municipaux qui sont offerts aux citoyens. Moi, je me demandais peut-être, parce que pour avoir, tu sais, c'est de notoriété publique, pour avoir fait une campagne au courant des derniers mois, il y a plusieurs personnes qui m'ont dit, par exemple, mais la sécurité publique, ça fait quoi? Les travaux publics, ça fait quoi? Hydro-Westmount, ça fait quoi? Donc, je me demandais s'il pourrait peut-être le service des communications, peut-être, in collaboration with Mr. Aronson, who's the commissioner for communications, I believe, si vous pourriez peut-être y avoir un petit peu de contenu ou de courtes capsules, peut-être, par exemple, je donne l'exemple de la sécurité publique, par exemple, mais il pourrait y avoir un officier de la sécurité publique, par exemple, là, qui répondrait à des petites questions rafales. C'est quoi nos tâches, c'est quoi nos fonctions, c'est quoi notre but? Donc, je voulais juste vous proposer ça.
Merci beaucoup pour cette suggestion, monsieur. Actuellement? Oui, il y a déjà un peu des informations de ce type sur notre site web, mais je pense qu'on peut vous donner bien plus que ça. Je pense que c'est une très, très bonne idée, puis je vais les incorporer dans les plans qu'on va faire pour donner plus de transparence de les fonctions de toute la ville à tout le monde. I think it's an absolutely excellent idea. There is some information available on our website, but I think it's not sufficient. And I think that one of the things that we can do better from a communication standpoint is reaching way more of our citizens where they are. So for those who really need to receive information on paper, to give it to them on paper. And for those who are engaged online in various different social media platforms, to put out material on those platforms that allows all of our residents to acquire the information that they're interested in a manner that best suits them. So that's the starting point with which I'll speak with our communications department and see what we might be able to bring forward to expose a great deal more of the wonderful things that this city already does that our residents may benefit from but not be aware exist.
Thank you very much. And if I may, je ne vais pas couper personne. But if I may do another suggestion as well, there is, vous savez, il y a l'ancienne gare désaffectée à l'intersection de Victoria et Sainte-Catherine. Puis moi, ce que je proposerais, bon, je sais que I know you've just arrived, and again, congratulations. But I was wondering if maybe the city could look into maybe revitalizing this this building in Westmount. We have a lot of talents.
You're talking about The train station?
The former train station,
I've
exactly.
asked the question, we'll be looking into that. I don't know what we could do. It's limited for a variety of reasons, but we will be looking into it. It's on our radar.
C'est des petites suggestions rapides, là, puis j'ai pas tous les détails, mais il pourrait y avoir peut-être une foire gourmande. On a beaucoup de restaurateurs à Westmount. Il pourrait également y avoir, we have a lot of startups in Westmount. We have a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Maybe this area, this building could actually be used as a collaborative workspace for businesses, even for residents, maybe to exchange ideas, maybe on how maybe to start a business. So I know it's a very complicated issue. And again, I've said it time and time over the past few months. I respect everyone who works around council. You guys have a difficult work, and I'm very thankful for the work that each and every one of you does on a daily basis. Thank you very much.
Note of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a question en ligne, or maybe we should do one last question. Yeah.
Sure. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Monsieur le maire, mesdames, messieurs les conseillers, félicitations pour votre nouveau mandat. Je m'appelle Frédéric Chouanière, j'habite sur Grosvenor. I'm also a TV host, documentarist, doing a series called Espèces d'ordures on TV5 Canada. I've been traveling the world for 2-3 years now, seeing how cities do their best to manage waste. Everywhere in the world, this is a massive issue. Everywhere in the world, all continents have traveled, cities are asking more from businesses, citizens, from themselves, passing laws. J'ai beaucoup d'exemples que je pourrais vous donner. Pour l'instant, je vous ai entendu, j'ai vu le vote. D'ici le mois d'avril, qui est la prolongation de ce que vous avez voté, est-ce qu'on peut avoir, des informations sur l'évolution du dossier, mais aussi est-ce qu'on peut avoir votre engagement que d'ici la fin du mois d'avril, on a un plan to do better with our waste? Can we have your word that by the end of April...
You have our word that we're working on it. I don't control everything that everyone's looking at.
But that's my question.
At the end of April,
Yep.
we decided...
Because we need to know...
The only change we made is to the end of April.
Yes.
Starting May 1, we have a contract,
Yeah.
an existing contract we can change, where collection of garbage
But this
is every
one you
week.
could.
Pardon?
But this one you could.
Yeah, but we're not changing. We voted for it. But we're going to do what we can, and if you have information, it sounds like
I
you
have
may have...
plenty.
How
Plenty
can
to
we?
share.
How can we get the information?
I'll hook you up. He's my neighbor.
Okay.
Parfait.
Connect him with the Directors General. That would be awesome. Because I said,
Absolutely.
you heard me say, I would like to have a world-class solution.
I
And
can
if you
show
have
you examples
experience
from
other
around the
places-
world.
Excellent. Thank you for
but
your help.
yes, that's what I would like, commitment that by the end of this extension in April, there's a plan. So a year from now, we're not in the same situation.
Well, our plan is not to be in that situation. We don't know how long it's going to take. If it's going to take to the summer, I don't know. So I know we've asked the Directors General and the staff to work on all available options and to get comments from people and see what we can do.
Très bien, merci.
Can I add something, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor?
sure.
Frédéric, thank
Bonsoir,
you very much
Jean.
for coming. I've told the whole council about you. I've shared the links to your videos. Thank you for offering to help. I know this is a question period where you guys ask us questions, but I'll ask you, could you please make sure that you're involved and help us out with this?
Ce serait mon plaisir et mon honneur.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to offer my help too.
Yes.
Have to put
I
back.
saw you there. I was going to call you next.
I would like to know if the city could consider creating an eco-centre like there's in Montreal. The eco-centre's mission is to help inform, sensibiliser les citoyens aux enjeux de l'environnement de façon générale, mais il y a beaucoup de travail qui est fait dans les éco-centres pour travailler sur le recyclage, le compost, les déchets. Puis moi, je me joins à Frédéric pour offrir mon aide. Moi, je travaille plus en communication qu'en environnement, quoique je travaille aussi en environnement, mais ma compétence, c'est en communication. Je trouve que la Ville a vraiment beaucoup de travail à faire. Je pense qu'une des raisons pour lesquelles vos citoyens n'adoptent pas le projet actuel, c'est parce qu'il a été mal communiqué. Comme si c'était une option. Il n'y a pas d'option.
Oui.
On s'en va, le train s'en va par là, puis nous, il faut qu'on embarque dans le train. Si on n'embarque pas, le train continue d'y aller, là.
Okay. You make sense. We'll call upon you. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup
Merci.
d'avoir offert vos services. Merci.
Darlene, thank you very much for your questions. We have some questions online.
Yes, we have questions online. So the first one being from Tom Robitaille. For the mayor and council members, when can we expect to have defined a list of key priorities for the city? And will you establish a dashboard to track progress on those issues that will be communicated regularly?
So the answer is yes. You see already, as we said, it's the first day, but we have a pretty good understanding of the big pictures of what we want to do. And as we work through things, you will be informed. Yes, thank you.
Okay, next question from Anonymous. Is it true that you're canceling the contract for garbage and giving out a new one with no public consultation?
No. So this was voted on. So we cannot cancel a contract, and we're just using the existing contract to buy additional services from them for a 5-month period. Thank you.
Okay, the next question was
I think
from...
that was answered.
Yes,
It was Barbara Wynn's
Wynn?
question. Yes.
Good. Okay, the next question is Paul Glassman. The question is, my neighbor has destroyed a lattice fence between our properties and built a taller opaque wooden wall. With the retaining wall below, it reaches 4 meters, double what the city allows. It cuts off light in the darker months, and it makes my house feel like a basement apartment. Through the city website and via my counselor, I asked if a permit has been issued and what is allowed, but nobody has answered. My questions for the council are, how can the city allow a construction that is so blatantly violates its standards, and why is the permit, if any, kept secret?
So first of all, we have rules that we're enforcing. In this particular case, it's something we're aware of and we're working through it. The administration is working on it at the moment.
Okay, next question from Ian McLaren. Given that the City of Westmount has a bylaw regarding the idling of vehicles, could council make a point of requiring Westmount Security to enforce it? Reasoning, the fine $57 is measly, but even more measly is the infrequency in which fines are given. Why can this not be a priority? The city website includes a question about enforcement dating back from 2003. Given that I use Westmount's terrific variation in elevation to take exercise by walking, I am genuinely disturbed by the frequency in which I have to hold my breath to avoid inhaling exhaust from parked vehicles as I pass them. The frequency does not diminish with good weather. Then it's presumably a matter of aircon. Worst offenders are tradesmen, residents starting their vehicles several minutes before occupying them and using them, parents, grandparents, guardians waiting outside school for children who are learning in class. Just how damaged the planet air has grown. Westmount City and Westmount Security vehicle, many offenders are merely texting or phoning. They often exceed the bylaw's 3-minute maximum. That is, if they're still idling when I return to, I don't know, it's cut there. I return from Summitwood or other higher points on my routes. The bylaw was initially meant to educate drivers, not to demonize them, but the bylaw is very obviously not working and will remain a farce until Westmount Security is told to enforce the bylaw.
So there's a question about the bylaw relating to cars idling, and the statement is $57. It's actually a lot more. We do enforce these rules. The actual ticket is $92, and for a commercial vehicle, it's $168. And then if they don't pay on time, there's a fine and court fees. So if the website isn't updated, we should update it to make sure it has this. And this is something we have to bring up to our public security, that they are enforcing these, but to my knowledge, they are. Thank you.
Et la dernière question de Samuel Dubé. Salutations au nouveau maire et à tous les membres du Conseil. Toutes mes félicitations pour votre victoire. J'aimerais en savoir plus sur la vision du nouveau maire concernant les projets de réfection des routes. L'idée d'avoir un outil de planification sur plusieurs années me semble très bonne. Ceci dit, il faut aussi savoir profiter de la réfection de nos rues pour les améliorer. À ce sujet, l'exemple de la rue Clermont est vraiment décevant. La Ville voulait améliorer la rue, mais son projet était trop radical, entre autres à cause du stationnement, ce qui a suscité beaucoup d'opposition. Finalement, on se retrouve avec une rue refaite, mais qui est identique à la vieille rue. Aucune amélioration, alors qu'on aurait pu au moins ajouter des arbres et des fleurs. Comment voyez-vous les prochains projets? On refait les rues à l'identique, on ajoute de la verdure, des pistes cyclables. On fait d'interminables consultations où la Ville prend des décisions par elle-même. J'aimerais vous entendre.
OK, c'est très long, compliqué. Le dernier conseil a commencé à embarquer un système de remplacer, réparer l'infrastructure avec des plans pour 3 années, qui a commencé 2025. Nous avons, et ça continue, après une année est terminée, finie, on ajoute une autre année. On rencontre notre groupe de finances pour voir les plans pour les prochaines 3 ans. Mais concernant la question, c'est qu'est-ce que vous allez faire concernant les projets des routes? Et pour moi, il faut le regarder au complet. Nous avons un rapport de la condition de notre infrastructure qui est très important, mais ce n'est pas à date. J'ai discuté avec Julie et l'idée, c'est mettre ça à date pour savoir exactement où sont les problèmes. Après ça, avec nos ingénieurs, on peut faire un master plan pour déterminer quoi faire. Cette année, on va faire ça. L'année prochaine, les autres. Et c'est important pour nous et on va embarquer là-dedans. Merci. Next one was about the stairs. So on a discuté déjà. The stairs on Montrose, Holton, St. Sulpice. So somebody asked the same question here, and I answered that our public works and engineering teams are reviewing options to see if there's something qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire temporairement, something we could do temporarily. I think that's the last question. So if that's the case, I thank everybody for being here, and I call for a closing of the meeting at 8:51. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your questions. We take everything seriously. And as I said, first day on the job, but we do know we will follow everything up. So thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Meeting adjourned.